All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of the League Link Up. I am Carly Whitney, Director of Leagues and Events here at Ohio Basketball. Really excited for today's lineup. We have two of the best from PHEE Elite here with us, league members, Elite 40 and NE2K. We have Coach Jordan Olufson and Coach Dan Rolfes here. I'm really excited for you guys. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate being on.
So, the purpose of this podcast is just to take coaches and people in our grassroots independent circuit life and talk about not only circuits, women's basketball, everything basketball that we can talk about, and just try to just share gems with each other. So we have a really good lineup here today, and I'm excited to talk to you guys because I guess what a lot of people don't really understand is they may see you two, but they don't really know your background. So obviously you guys are coaches and AAU program directors, but if you guys could both, we'll go Jordan first, then Dan, if you guys could just introduce yourself, give us a little bit of your background, how you got involved, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, Jordan Olufson, the current head coach at Webster University in St. Louis, NCAA Division III. Been here 17 years, started at University of Central Missouri before that. Linked in with Dan, I don't know, 7 years ago or so, and with Blue Star, which is Nafisa Collier Elite now. My daughter played with Knights, which is Dan's program that they started years back, and so had great success of being able to link with him and build something pretty strong here. And last couple of years have been kind of cool where he's coached my daughter at Incarnate, and I coached his daughter at Webster. So kind of a unique thing, but
cool.
So we're connected on a lot of different areas. So
nice. Dan.
Yeah. Dan Rolfes, I'm my high school basketball coach in St. Louis. This is my 25th year. It's hard to believe. At Incarnate Word. It's been a great run. Lots of great players, lots of great families. Prior to that, I was an assistant at St. Louis University for 5 years, and then before that at another high school in St. Louis at Rosary. We started like Jordan said. I run a basketball club here in St. Louis called the Knights, and then we start them from second grade through eighth grade, and then in high school we become PHEE Elite. So PHEE Elite's been we've been around for a while, but the PHEE Elite name and moving to her has been in the last 3 or 4 years. So and then like Jordan said, it's kind of just started the Knights basketball program just because I had daughters, and there wasn't just a club here in St. Louis that I think everyone gravitated towards. So there's a couple of guys that had daughters around the same age, and we just started to make teams, and felt like we did a pretty good job of being organized and coaching them up, and one thing led to another, and we've got boys, you've got girls, and right now we've got 80 youth teams, and
Wow.
20 something high school teams on the boys and the girls side. So it's
Wow.
exploded. So it's been a good run, and we're lucky enough to have Jordan's daughter Peyton in our club, and that's where I got to know Jordan, and then I kind of roped him into coaching our high school stuff, and he's taken it and run with it. And he's done an amazing job.
Wow, what a really cool story and process, and how you guys. That's a lot of teams. That's and
Yeah.
and I will say this too is it's sometimes hard to find really good solid youth programs too. So the fact that you can start them young and get them all the way to high school is something to be really proud of. So congrats to you guys on that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, yeah, and we've just always just tried to feel like we've done it the right way. We unfortunately we turn away a lot of kids because we kind of pride ourselves on having good quality coaches that are, we're going to teach fundamentals. We're going to make them
Yeah.
play man to man. We would rather lose a league game than, sit in a 2-3 zone and make
Yeah.
a third grade team, chuck it from 3-point line. It just, just certain philosophies that we have. And I think that's been a big part of our success, and just trying to do everything the right way.
So obviously, PHEE Elite plays in Elite 40 and any 2K. So PHEE Elite's your high school program. So how did PHEE Elite come up? Like, how did Nafisa come about? What's the tie to Nafisa?
So Nafisa played for me in high school.
Okay.
So, yeah, so, and she's just an incredible ambassador for women's basketball. And she still lives in the St. Louis area, here and there, and it's probably definitely spends more time in Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
But I still keep in touch and have a great relationship with her and her husband and her family. Um, and she just, we just talked, and wanted to get her name out there. And now she's doing the unrivaled, the
Yeah.
3-on-3, and just trying to get her name out there. And just try to enhance women's basketball.
Yeah,
So
for sure. So our last episode, on episode 1, it was actually in the heart of the WNBA finals. So we were talking about how we felt that Nafisa, me and John Albert from Lady Bradley Beal, we felt that Nafisa was kind of like underappreciated. I think. I don't think that she gets the amount of attention. Maybe she does now after that finals, but how cool has it been for you guys to see her, obviously homegrown from Missouri, played for you guys. You have a personal relationship. Are you surprised by anything that happened in that finals, or are you just like, just wait? Like, were you guys literally
besides the bad officiating, no, I'm not surprised.
right? Mm.
Yeah, no, I think, Nafisa is just a humble and genuine person. She's just not the kind of person that's, out there on social media, and just yeah, just a different philosophy. She's got a kid, and she's, living a family life too, as well as being a rock star on the basketball court.
Yeah,
So she's just her philosophy is just a little bit different. But yeah, Nafisa's always been the type of player that's never been like super flashy. She just kind of just does a little bit of everything. And
mm,
you kind of just look at the end of the game, and you'll see, oh man, she scored 25 and had, 12 rebounds and 5 blocks. You just don't
quiet.
even realize it, because it just kind of sneaks up on you. Um, and, I didn't really feel like, just at UConn, or, in no disrespect to Coach Gino, and or with USA, they didn't run a lot of plays specifically for Nafisa. She just kind of gets her own, through hustle and running the floor, offensive rebounds, steals. Um, it's never just a lot of specific plays for just specifically for her. So.
Well, to me, she's so efficient. She's so physical. She does all the stuff that as coaches you want your players to do. I mean, I think she's on the floor most of the time, loose balls, or, you know what I mean, taking charges, rebounding, doing all the dirty work. She was phenomenal to me. Like, I enjoyed watching her. I can really appreciate her game. And it's kind of cool to hear from like two guys that, maybe saw her at much younger. Has her game always been that game? And who's are either of you going to take credit for the step back turnaround post game?
That's her husband, Alex. He's a trainer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, actually he trains a bunch of NBA guys. And that's relatively new too. So no, in high school I just said, hey, give the ball to Nafisa and everybody get out of the way. So that's that's all I got.
Yeah,
So
what a blessing. Yeah.
no, but no, her game has kind of always been that way. Just never just crazy flashy, just always super efficient. Always, I mean, like shot some ridiculous number, like 70 something, low, like 72% from the field, and for the year.
Yeah.
um, and just that's kind of always been her game, and it's just crazy to see like how her game is been so consistent, even playing at the highest levels.
Nice. So obviously playing on our Elite 40 circuit, Jordan, you are an actual coach on our Elite 40 circuit, and you have been for the past 3 years. You've won back-to-back championships with the teams that you've coached. Elite 40 in 2024, 16U champions, and in 2023, 17U champions, correct?
Yep.
So
we went back-to-back 17s and back-to-back 26s.
Yeah, 3 years ago as well. So I guess my question to you is, what do you like being on Elite 40? What do you have to prepare for every year? You know, from your standpoint, being PHEE Elite, you guys are always in the top conversation every year. You know, you bring so much to the league. Being a coach that has done it before, have won it before, what do you look for heading into circuit season? What do you like about it? What do you kind of have your head on a swivel for?
You know, I think one thing about the E40 is like you're playing teams from everywhere. It's not just teams in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
You know, one year we're playing teams from California, we're playing teams from Canada, you know, so I like that we're seeing different basketball, right? Basketball in the South and the West is different. So you're preparing different for every game, like if it's an X's and O's, if it's a system, if it's, you know, their play style. So as a coach, you get challenged because it's short turnaround time, right? You know, you might play at 2 and 5 or whatever. But I just like that the talents, I mean, you're playing high level talent. You got kids going to P4 schools that are going to mid majors, that are going to great D2s. So the talent is ridiculous, man. I mean, I remember playing, you know, people that are going to go, that are stars at Notre Dame, to people that are stars at Central Missouri. So I think that's the grind. The grind is, you know, we got great coaches. There's great talent. Obviously, we're fortunate to have really talented kids that want to be part of something special. But I think like there's really not a ton of bad games. Like it's, you know, that you can't just roll up and say, oh, you're going to win this game by, you know, 10 or 20 every game. Like you got to execute. I think what I've seen over the years is every event, if it's a April event to a May to a July, you know, you're going to have to earn a win every night. Obviously we love that the fact that we get to play in the hardwoods all the time is a big deal in the college court. You know, I feel like the platform that our players get from the exposure standpoint is through the roof. It's been good. And you got the competition side. So you kind of get the best of all of it, from coaching to talent to exposure to, you know, there's no better place to be at the Roses either, right? So I always kind of say, you know, when Dan and I talk about it, the Roses is the place you got to be. And we just feel pretty fortunate that the E40 gives us a great opportunity to compete at the highest level.
What do you feel was your hardest game this year?
Oh my goodness.
You and Carlos from SMAC always have. You and Carlos always have knockdown, drag them outs.
SMAC is I mean, from you know, Tucker to Los, like I say this, the ball moves the best with the SMAC team. Like it's crazy. Like they find the open person. If you cheat something, their IQ's through the roof. You know, the drills for a skills team was really legit.
Yeah.
Like they were as, and I told them after the game, I said, I'd play 100 times. Because I just thought from quality of play to coaching was really, really good.
And got so much better as the year went on too.
Yeah. You know, I think that's, you know, even like, you know, down and we played like 4 or 5 teams that were like super physical, super competitive. And, you know, I just felt like we, you know, maybe 5 years ago, maybe we could get away with, you know, get up 20, maybe the game was over. Like teams are so relentless, and so good at, you know, being down 11 and being able to cut it to 2, or being up 11 and holding runs more. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like every team we played was a battle. You know, the Australian team we played, man, I'm telling you this, on the first day of the Roses, they play hard. Their IQ's good. That from a coaching standpoint, I did one of the harder games to coach, just because they run so much action, and they were so physical that we've never seen that physicality over here. You know, obviously they talk about the international game being physical. They were super physical. So that might be the toughest team in terms of physicality that we played.
Well, that European
called
game, there's no screens being set. They're blowing through those.
Blowing Through Screens.
Yeah.
Right. I think I asked for 1 or 2 moving screens that game, but yeah, it was different. So
Yeah. So obviously, Jordan, college basketball coach, Elite 40 champion. Dan, you've had a very impressive, your resume from coaching high school is off the charts. Naismith Coach of the Year. You coach USA basketball. You have what? How many state championships are we at now, Dan?
13.
Good Lord. 13. So you're 13 for 25?
Well, this is my 25th year, so 24. So hopefully 14 for so.
Ooh,
he's
okay.
got rings on his toes right now.
I was literally gonna say, where do you put them? Do you just have a big like ring chain that you just
Yeah,
wear
right.
around?
That's
Or? Yeah.
good idea.
So you guys have coached at all the levels. So where do you guys see the gaps? Like when you have these high-level high school athletes that then transition into high school basketball, then transition into high-level AAU, where do you see the talent level going? Where do you see the gaps? And where do you see the game going?
You want to go?
Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing, like from a recruiting standpoint, that we really push is finding your fit. I think a lot of people don't understand what their game is, and level shouldn't be, the number one decision of where they go. So I think sometimes the gap comes from, out kicking your coverage. Like I want the highest, but you may not be that player, or you're not finding the right system for you. There's a lot of kids that, oh man, coach, did you know they play zone? Yeah, they play 80% zone. Well, we never play zone. Well, you'll probably be unhappy. Or, coach, they got 3 guards in front of me. Well, these are questions that we want to make sure that, our kids understand to ask. So I think the gap comes from the recruiting standpoint. I think there are really great low D1s that are maybe P4 caliber, right? But I also feel like there are high D2 and high D3 teams that are as good as some of these low to mid D1s. So I think the gap comes from when kids are making their decisions and who's in their ear and what's influencing them and what they truly want, or if they really know what they want. The game of basketball at the high school level to UConn is the same, right? I mean, it's concepts, it's making reads. Players get better, players get bigger, the talent goes up, but the game itself is it. So you're trying to figure out, how do you find your fit? Obviously the campus, the academic side, but I think the biggest gap is people just don't do enough homework, enough research on where to go.
Yeah, I feel, and I would say one of the benefits too about playing on the Elite 40 circuit is all those schools that you mentioned, you have an opportunity to be seen. Yeah. Where we have all levels of Division I, Division II, Division III actively watching. So, yeah. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, no, I think one of the biggest gaps, I think, is the IQ of a lot of the kids, and maybe the expectations from the coaches. So, I'm, at the high school level, I'm dealing with just, my 12 kids are, on varsity, and I can control that. But then when you put them all together on, an quote unquote AAU team that's going to play in the summer circuit, you've got a wide variety of, what high school coaches are teaching their kids. And then I also, have a ton of contacts in college, just for being around for so many years, um, and just talking to them and realizing that a lot of kids are not prepared to step in and play right away. So, for me, I feel like what we're doing at Incarnate, we're preparing them to. I feel like that's a huge part of my job. Obviously, I want to win games, but I think a big part of my job is to prepare them to play at the next level, and that's just not winning games. It's learning how to read a scout, learning how to watch film, learning this is how we walk through. This is and so when they get to the next level, they're just not in shock. And then I think Jordan just has when you're playing in the summer, you just have such a short amount of time to put everything together. And like I said, everybody's IQ is different, and their knowledge of the game is different. Putting them all together is not easy. And the one thing that I love about PHEE Elite is that I think we practice. It's they're practicing 3 nights a week. Our teams just don't show up Saturday, for a tournament, and we hand out uniforms, and we and just roll the ball out. I feel like it's kind of an extension of our high school programs, because Jordan they're teaching them, they're practicing, they're continuing to get better. And I think that's what differentiates PHEE Elite from a lot of programs.
So, you talked about PHEE Elite. What is PHEE Elite's brand of basketball? Like, if you had to elevator pitch, sell PHEE Elite, what is PHEE Elite?
Yeah, it's not ISO basketball. We're going to share the basketball. We're going to move the basketball on offense. Kind of feel like, when we're sharing the ball, everybody looks good. And then, as much as a lot of people don't want to, we're gonna guard, and we're gonna
Yeah.
play defense. In the summer, I know everybody wants to score points. Everybody wants to, you know, be the leading scorer. Well, guess what? You can only have one leading scorer on your team. So, and just try and get our kids to buy into, like, hey, coaches will notice you rebounding. They'll notice
Yeah.
how well you guard the ball. They will notice those things. And I think that's why we've had a high success of getting our kids to play at the next level, because they do notice, like, the little things. And Jordan and all of our coaches are demanding, like, the attention to detail, the little things.
Yeah. So, question off the cuff. If you're building a starting five right now with everybody that you coached, who are you picking?
Me or Jordan?
You go first.
Mr. Ring, come on, Mr. Ring, who you got?
You know what? I mean, obviously you got to start with Nafisa. I mean, that's the no-brainer. But man, I mean, right now I've got a kid at Incarnate right now who's a senior, Nevaeh Caffey,
Yeah,
who's going to Indiana. I mean, she's point guard, and she is just, I mean, she's just an amazing defender, and so strong and so competitive. I would definitely, have her. And I'm going way back. I got a gal who played at DePaul. Her name was Felicia Chester. She also played in the league for a little bit. Ended up marrying an NFL player, so kind of got out of it and started having a family. And
Yeah.
but it was a stud player at DePaul. Right now we have a player at Nebraska, Natalie Potts, who was the Big Ten
Yeah.
freshman of the year.
Yeah.
Just a high motor kid, a lot like Nevaeh. Just a high motor kid who's just kind of all over the court, and just does a little bit of everything. She just is fun to watch and fun to coach. And you love those high energy kids that bring energy to the game. And she does that. And then last one is one of my players who I love. Her name was Taylor Manuel. Kind of started at Purdue, kind of bounced around a little bit. But just a 6'3" player who could have been a point guard as well. And so ridiculously skilled and size. And I don't know, that five would win a lot of games.
Woo.
So
I'm always so interested to see what coaches say. I will say Nevaeh Caffey, she can do a lot. I've seen her play multiple times. She is a problem, a full-blown problem.
yeah,
I watched
yeah.
her. Jordan, did she play for you last year?
She did the last couple of years. And I've said this, for as good as she is to be able to create her offense, Nevaeh might be the best on-ball defender in the country. And that's not a disrespect to anyone else. She has pride in her craft of keeping her hips in front of people and using her length. And and the girl's always in the gym, right? So it's not just a hustle thing. This is a work ethic thing. This is the talent thing. Like, I mean, she's impressive to watch, and as Dan would say, I mean, she's a joy to coach because she's fun to coach, and she makes you look real good too. So that helps.
Yeah, and I like her disposition. I like what she brings to the table. Like, you would a player of her caliber, you might expect to see a different type of personality. She's all business but passionate. Like when I watched her, I was like, yeah, she's freaking good. She can do a lot. She's a problem. She's a problem. Yeah. What about you, Jordan? Who you got?
I'll go with the PHEE elite side. Just, I mean, Natalie Potts, right? I mean, she's a workhorse. She just does things you can't coach, right?
Yeah.
I mean, from the motor to being able to finish, and and I know there's times where there's some games where I felt like she missed about 30 layups, but she also had about 28 offensive rebounds, so kind of made up for that. Nevaeh Caffey, right? I mean, no brainer. One of the best guards in the country. Probably go with Shannon Dow. I mean, just crazy athletic, doing big things out at Illinois State. I'll throw a little one that I didn't coach indirectly or directly is Elle Evans. That's at KU, 6'3" shooting guard. I mean, the girl, and I got to see her this summer. In May, we always bring the alums back when they have a little break from college, and it's the best 2 weeks from our standpoint. We get to see them all play. So, Natalie and Elle and Allie Turner and all of them were playing, and cool. Elle was good out of high school. Elle now is ridiculous. So I throw her in there because she can kind of shoot it lights out. I put Allie Turner in there. She's out at Gonzaga right now. I mean, really good point guard, can shoot it, can create. And then, man, I'll throw her out there just because I think skill-wise she's really, really good. Would be Brooke Coffey. I think she could shoot it. She's kind of a big guard, kind of do a little bit different things. When she wants to guard, she can guard. So that's probably what I put over the last few years from a PHEE elite standpoint.
Awesome. I'm going to have you guys tag them in the comments when we post this video, so you guys can give them their to-do, because those sounds like great additions to maybe a Dan versus Jordan 5-on-5 game we have going on here in May. That might be the next thing.
I picked the younger one, so I feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, if you had those 2 5s square up and you do like a PHEE elite
right.
5-on-5, I want to be involved. I need to get the call.
That's right.
I may even referee. You never know. I'll give you a moving screen call, Jordan, for you.
Nice. There we go.
So, one conversation topic that I feel like is really hot right now. Well, there's actually 3. We're going to try to cover all 3 of them if we have time today. Is in your recruiting, Jordan, or even, I'll say like even high school, college, whatever, obviously at Incarnate, you've been there a long time, Dan. So you're seeing player attributes, player traits that are desirable to you, and then you're pushing these girls off to the next level. So, Jordan, what are some things that maybe college coaches don't tell kids that they're looking for? Like, what are the intangibles you're looking for? What really matters that kids don't think matters? Like, are you looking at body language? Are you looking at, like you always say, if you're good enough, they'll find you, right? But what are the other things that you are looking for? Because right now in our events, obviously high level exposure, circuits, wood floors, you see these college coaches everywhere. If you come in to run for roses for the first time, it's intimidating for a minute. You're like, wow. If it's your first time playing on a wood court and you see, regardless of what circuit is being played, 30 deep standing there, obviously you have the in with your own teams, and maybe, at the high school kids that you touch below, obviously, but what are things that you are looking for, and what are things that you wish you could tell kids that you see play?
I think biggest thing that we want is we want great teammates. And it's something that's just not the words. It's, can you inspire your teammates? Can you elevate your teammates to be better? Obviously we want kids that can score and do some things. I think a big trait that, and I know for us, probably the last 5 or 6 that we really focused on is passing. Can you pass? Not everybody can legitimately make good passes, but can you pass to set your teammates up? Especially as a freshman going into the college, right? It's rare for a freshman to go into college and just be a star. There is the exceptions, right? But most are, hey, I've got a sophomore, a junior, a senior. I have a transfer that we want them to get a lot of our shots. Can you facilitate? Can you get them the ball in this position off this screen or whatnot? So I think that's something that I don't know if it's emphasized. It's something we want. Yeah, like the body language, like it's a big deal. Like we had a kid a few years ago, and club coach like, man, she's great, and we got her. And it was like every day was attitude. Oh yeah, coach. We just kind of dealt with it, and my thing is just let us know. Like if that's let me decide if we want to deal with that or not. But you can have bad days. We're human beings, right? We go through
Yeah.
things, but at the same time, I think it's like, and I tell our kids, and you can ask any of our PHEE kids, I won't lie for you. If you're a bad practice player, I'm going to tell every coach. If you're a great practice player,
Right.
I'm going to tell them. My thing is I'm not here to sell someone. I'm here to say, here's what they do good. Here's what they need to work on. Here's how I think they can help you. You decide. We get paid to pick players or try to recruit players that we want. We got to do the work. Trust your eyes, right? I'm not here to sell you, but I think the intangibles of being a good passer. Can you defend? Is there a want to defend? And Dan talked about this earlier in the gap where training is at all-time high. Kids can dribble between their legs 75 times flawlessly, but the IQ's down. We don't play enough. There's not enough times where we just go to the park on a Saturday and just hoop and figure out how to be tough or whatnot.
Flavors boys.
Yeah.
Flavors, just playing different mix-ups, skin your knees.
Yeah. And we're not as a generation. Our generation isn't as calloused in toughness. But I also think that it's something that needs to be talked about more. Like we want tough players. We want players that can dive on the floor or, my biggest thing about Nafisa is outside of her talent and her footwork, she elevates everyone around her. Like Nafisa wants to guard to the point where the four people around her, like they don't want to be left out. Like don't be the one left out because Nafisa's guarding, you're not getting your deflections or whatnot. And that's how you inspire. And that's what we want. Like, the talent, all that. Can you inspire your teammates to be better?
Nice. Dan, question for you. NIL is a big thing right now. And then you have, the national letter of intent going away. So the landscape of college basketball is changing right now. You coach high-level high school players. You have coached high-level high school players. Where do you see the college game going? Maybe Jordan, you can answer it on the back end. But is this good for our game? What do you think about NIL? What do you feel as if now college basketball players are on contract? What are your thoughts with the people that you touch and the people that you coach and girls that are going to be playing Division I? Nevaeh Caffey, she's going to Indiana, right? So where do you see this changing the landscape of women's basketball?
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn. With the money that kids are getting, I get that their name, image, and likeness. That's them. That's them making money for the school. I 100% get that. And they should get rewarded for that. They've put a lot of time in, and they should definitely be rewarded. My issue probably is the amount. Should it be more of a level playing field for everybody? Should there be a salary cap per sport, per university? I mean, I think, I right now, I think that's like the single, most thing that is driving recruiting right now is how much am I going to get paid?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's necessarily a good spot to be in. but I know, you know, the kids that I coach are very middle class, and this could be life changing for them. So I want that for my girls. So,
Yeah.
I want that for our kids. And so I'm a little bit torn, but I hate you know, the, the how much am I going to get paid, and I'm going to leave if I don't get this, and the demands, and just the school hopping from bouncing around from one program to the next. And um I'm just big on developing relationships with my girls and their families, and having them around for 4 years, and just building the culture. And, for me as a coach, that's what I love. I mean, obviously I love the game, but like, I love our kids and I love our families. And that's honestly equal to any championship I've ever won. And I've, personally found that out this year with, the stuff that I've been going through, just the amount of people that reached out to me. Um, so I don't know. I think that you lose that when you have the portal and the kids are bouncing around from from one school to the next. And um, so honestly, I know I've all I did is muddy up the waters. I gave zero
No,
clarification
it's
of how I feel, but um, I think it's I want our kids to get what they deserve, but I just think there's probably got to be some limits to it.
Jordan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough, right? Because I feel like we're in a world now where it's college basketball is semi-pro to professional, right? So it makes it a little bit tougher because I always think the college basketball game is the best. It's the purest. It's you're playing for your school. There's got to be pride. I think we've lost a little bit of that. I 100%. I think their kids deserve what they deserve, and um, but it makes it tough if you're deciding based off that, right? So at 30 minutes ago, I'm talking about how we got to find your fit. I don't know, is that really a fit, or is that just helping you out? And again, there are some people that need it way more than others. But yeah, it makes college basketball tough, and I kind of worry about the long term, right? So the life lessons in coaching, right, is you show up late for practice, that translates into real world where you get fired because you have to show up on time. Well, if kids are allowed to transfer, at some point in your world, you can't just leave 9 jobs because you'll be marked as unhireable. So at some point, where do we want to teach, and where do we just say, hey, this is okay? And I think we're just kind of in a really weird gray area where we're trying to maneuver and figure it out, but at the same time, I think there it is. I agree with Dan. There's got to be a little bit of limitations, or a bar of level playing field. And obviously every college itself, take NIL out, is different. Size of campus, academics you get, your CAF, right, your dorms, you
Yeah.
already have a disadvantage in some of that. So yeah, man, like, just find a way where it benefits everyone on an even playing field. I think it would be the best, but I don't know if we'll get to that.
I agree. I think it's a hard topic. I think that individually it's hard to turn down. It's being an 18-year-old kid, it's a no-brainer for a lot of kids, but then sometimes it worries me for the future of, low-level D1s or people that, don't have the budgets. Like, where does that leave a lot of these colleges, or these coaching staffs or these programs, just for the overall landscape of basketball. And that kind of gets us into our next topic is I have seen some really, really, really good basketball in the last year. Like I think, and you guys, you can jump in here. On the circuits, Jordan, I thought I saw some really good basketball.
Yeah.
I thought teams have gotten better. I think that the talent has gotten higher. Girls can do more.
Yeah.
And what I think the talent level has rose. I still think our numbers are going down across high schools, Dan. I don't know how it is in Missouri. In Ohio, numbers are down. We don't have as many girls playing basketball. We have more girls playing AAU, talented kids playing at a high level. But I think that in the high school landscape, a lot of kids specialize right now. They're picking 1 or 2 sports, not playing 3. A lot of times the winter sport gets cut. They focus on the fall and the spring sport because they want that break. So then high school numbers are down, but then you have high level talented girls that are playing AAU. They have trainers. They can jump higher. They can run faster. They're taller. They're stronger. They have trainers. They have strength. They have, all this stuff that I didn't have, or women your age, didn't have. So then you have, whether you like the conversation or not, the Caitlin Clarks of the world who have, come in as a rookie in the WNBA, and Angel Reese have skyrocketed this whole interest again in women's basketball. I disagree. I think it's always been there. I think everybody's late to the party. I think we've always done this. And the media has kind of now, put it on a platform to where people now reap the benefits. Media is now involved. I think we've always had great women's basketball players. Nafisa ahead of her time, all three of us could go down a list of girls from the 90s to 2010 that were phenomenal basketball players, but there wasn't TikTok, and there wasn't sponsorship opportunities, and there wasn't ESP. I mean, for God's sakes, I was, I'm 35. I was getting woken up by my dad at 11 o'clock, tapped to watch Tennessee Lady Vols and UConn play because it was delayed tape, and that was only 20 years ago. I was in high school because they were on delayed live taping or whatever. So I think that when you look at a lot of ex-college players, ex-WNBA players that are coming back, giving back to the game, putting their name, image, and likeness on the line to help grow the game. I'm excited about where women's basketball is going. I don't know what you guys feel. I still think there's a lot to do. I don't think that things are going to happen overnight. I don't think that the equality conversation between men's and women's basketball is going to happen overnight. But I was really, really excited after seeing just this past spring and summer, WNBA finals, sold out arenas. Jordan, I thought Roses was unbelievable this year.
Yep,
I thought there was more college coaches there than ever. I thought there was more fans there than ever. I thought that the basketball was elevated. I've seen some really great high school players. Dan, I see more girls on social media now being covered than I do boys. That could also be the algorithm. I don't know. But, I'm excited about where we're going. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, no, for 100%. And I agree. I mean, Caitlin Clark obviously did a ton for women's basketball, but I agree. The quality has been there. It hasn't got the coverage. And I think with, social media and just the different platforms to stream games, it's starting to get there. And so that's a great thing. I had the opportunity to go to Nafisa's game 4 in Minneapolis, sold out. The place was, rocking. It was great. And, and I'm literally sitting next to, 5 college guys, and then a family, then, an older, couple. And so it's reaching all kinds of different people. So, which is awesome to see. And I think, I think a lot of people once they watch it, they have an appreciation for the women's game.
Yeah.
Just the execution and a little more, it's not as size and strength and being able to dunk it and just using just sheer strength. But I mean, which is important, but it's just a little bit different on the women's
Yeah.
side. Just being
Get it?
able to see how skilled these girls are and how well they work, within a team I think a lot of people appreciate that. From a numbers standpoint, I feel the same way, over the course of the, last 25 years, definitely has the amount of girls has, interested in playing basketball has dwindled. And a lot of it is just because of, like what you said, is specialization. And honestly, we're as guilty of it as any other sport because I run a club and we start in
Yeah.
September, we end in August.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so we're as guilty as as volleyball and soccer and any of these other sports. So where we would get the on your freshman and JV, the multi-sport kid, that kid's choosing not to play and they're going to train with their individual trainer or lift a little bit more or get some extra soccer in. So That's it's a shame because I feel there's definitely a value when kids from other sports come and just bring a different attitude and a different outlook and a different set of skills. So it's a shame. And honestly, the other thing that I see too now is, and we've been successful, and I know you have a really successful high school team too, is a lot of times people don't want to come to your program because they're not going to be the star from day one. Not as many people are willing to put the time in, and maybe, not to get a lot of time your freshman year, and then, get some your sophomore year, and maybe start your junior year. And, not a lot of people want to put that time in. They would rather go, yeah, somewhere else to where they're going to be, you know, top dog from day one.
Yeah,
So
sometimes the more successful you are and the better you are, sometimes deters the middle of the road kid, which,
it's
you know,
100%.
yeah, it's I'm seeing it in Ohio as well. It's just people are specializing and people aren't doing everything anymore, and they want to pick one thing and stay in that road. And AAU, we are guilty of it. That's an excellent point. Like, sometimes as the high school coach in me, and it's like, God, like these girls are picking other sports, and then I'm with an AAU team from March to
Yeah, right.
August.
Yeah, I mean,
So
literally, you get done with your high school season, and 2 weeks later, you're in a
right,
tournament. So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. So,
yeah,
We're in
Jordan, what
that
about
we're in that instant gratification, right? So like it's growing up, right? We would you had to earn it, right? It was if you had an issue with your coach, you better make it right with your coach, right? To hey, you're a freshman, you got to earn your stripes. Now we want now. So easy. It's easy for kids to go somewhere that's not as good and go be the star. I don't know if we get better, where, you know, you go to a place like Incarnate where, man, every day is a battle and you're getting better every day. Long term, that's why there's more success for Incarnate kids or PHEE kids that go somewhere when because they're ready for college. They're ready for life because they had to earn it. I think that's we kind of lost that value a little bit in in our game, right? It's you can do 1,000 things, right? You can go to Top Golf, you can play field hockey, you can play AAU, you can do all these things, right? And some people are about it, and this is my craft, and I'm going to put time into it. And some are, hey, it's a casual thing, and that's why you
yeah.
start seeing people elevate, and those that choose the path of more resistance, I think, have more success of the grind, and
Yeah.
from Kobe to MJ, right? They all talked about the grind. They all talked about doing their work. There's not a lot of people that said, "Oh man, I went to QT today, got a couple rollers, had a couple sodas, now I'm a top 5 WNBA, NBA,
What's
MLB,
QT?
right? Oh, quick trip. Oh,
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
gas station.
Got it. In Ohio, we call
In the
those Circle Ks.
so
Those
there
are
you
Yeah,
go.
we got
Circle
them too.
Ks.
We got certain,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. We
But
got
I
we
think,
got QTs.
yeah, I think we miss out on that, right? And but it goes back to, we talked about the game a little bit. Is growing up, I remember watching Sean Kemp and Shaq and Barkley, and they were like idolized. Like, man, like you'd go to the park and be like, man, I want to do Barkley's move, or right. You didn't have that on the women's game, right? Now Paige comes out. Now everybody wants to be like Paige. Everybody wants to be Sabrina. But I think it came from YouTube. I remember with my daughter, like we still do. We watch YouTube, a day in the life of a D1 athlete and whatnot. I
Yeah.
think it is as underground grassroots for the women's side than any sport is. People got famous, big, popular, idolized by YouTube, which is so fun because it's like I want that. I want that life. I want that work. Now, the only thing I don't like about what we idolize is we make the athletic training room really, really cool now. Because when I played, going to the training room was like you didn't want to go there. But now everybody's like in the training room. I need my stuff, which we need a little bit of maintenance, right?
Yeah.
But I do think YouTube is really popularized our game.
Yeah.
on the underground side of it too. So
And media in general, right? I
yeah,
mean, that's the
100%.
explosion, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So just to kind of wind down, because as a coach myself, I'm really interested in I don't know how you guys feel, but I go to, a lot of like coaching clinics or college practices or talk to a lot of people. And I like to ask other questions that, like as a coach, like I like to know small intricate details. And because I've been at St. Mary's 17 years. So I've been there a long time. We've all been in this game a long time. For both of you, is there one person or program that you really look to that you've kind of either idolized your programs after or have your coaching philosophy after? It can be a local person that no one else knows that you can talk about. And then why do you coach?
I'll go first. I mean, I really don't have one person that I try to emulate. Like you, I love going to clinics. I love going to college practices. And my hope is when I go to those things, I don't feel like I'm just going to overhaul what
Yeah.
anything I do, but like, oh, I do like this drill, and I do like the way they taught, the closeouts, or I do like their terminology. So I'm just hoping to pick up like one or two things. I'm, similar to you. I'm sure similar to Jordan is. I'm always just ordering these videos and looking on social media just for different drills and different things, and just always trying to expand my game. But one person who took a chance on me, I had only coached high school basketball for 2 years, and her name is Jill Pizzotti, and um she was the head coach at SLU at the time, St. Louis University, and she gave me a chance. I think I was 24 years old. I didn't even realize until whatever a couple years ago how close in age I was to the actual players when
Right.
those players were getting married. I'm like, wait, you married some dude that's my age? But she gave me a chance, and I learned a lot from her. And she's at DePaul now, and she's actually the interim head coach at DePaul now, and she gave me a chance, and I will forever be grateful for her for giving me that opportunity to be in the D1 coaching. So
Why do you coach, Dan?
man, relationships. Um, I don't know. I just think they're just special relationship with the girls that I have, and I just love to see them honestly outside and of basketball. What they're doing outside with their lives, and especially when they get older. Their families and everything that they have going on. I just truly love the relationship. It's kind of like a father daughter relationship.
Yeah,
So.
that's really cool. What about you, Jordan?
Well, Dan, I got 3 new videos right here. We can share.
All
So
right, good.
they just came in. Um, I think for me, like as I've got more into it, right? First I'm a big North Carolina Tar Heel fan, so I was like Roy Williams. I would probably say over the last 15 years, it's more of taking from here and there and building things that I like. Oh, I like this. I like what they do. I like this. And coaches were thieves, right? We steal from everyone of stuff. But that's the great thing is about the game is we can share it. So, I've been impacted by my high school coach Jerry Bisher, who inspired me to get into coaching, and I just kind of see the relationships that coaches have had and the impacts of what they're doing and how they coach, and so sometimes for me it's not who I want to be like them, but who I like how they handle that. Who I like this concept. I like kind of this relationship that they've built or that trust that they've built, and no matter what, life's about relationships, right? And so for me, it's build your philosophy on what you feel that you can stand by, right? I'm not going to steal someone's philosophy, and if I don't believe in it. So for us, it's kind of been a build like as grassroots. We've rooted this from 10,000 coaches, right? Whatever it is. But the why is always the impact and the relationship. Like
Yeah.
I get so excited when a kid finally takes that first charge, or when they finally get that ball screen coverage the right way, or make the right pass. And our kids will take, like, we celebrated like the 4th of July, and some of our kids like, dude, this guy's nuts. But to me, like, seeing them get it is why. Like I want them to be the best. But we take a lot of pride in our culture. We take a pride on the relationships. That's a big part of this. Is the game is great, but watching people grow and having good communication is long term is kind of why I do it.
Yeah. Well, from a league standpoint and an independent grassroots standpoint, it's nice to hear from, coaches who do it for the right reasons, not saying that people don't, but it's also really interesting, just Dan, to have another high school coach, because I think sometimes there's this fine line between AAU and high school. And a lot of times people think that they don't cross paths, and there's there can be some really good relationships that come out of both and that can cross over in both. So, I really enjoy what both of you guys do, not only for PHEE Elite, but in your own respective, professions. We'll be watching you guys. And I really can't thank you enough. I think this has been a really great hour. And as humble as both of you guys are in what you guys have done, I think you're great for the game. I do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys giving us the platform with the E40, with the podcast, because it's right. It takes a village. Everybody's rowing the same way on things.
Yeah. We have really, really good coaches and really, really great programs in our league that I think sometimes we focus a lot of times on the players, which we should.
Yeah.
But at the same time, great players come from someplace. And you guys have been around for so long. You continue to churn out, not only Division I athletes, but great teams and great great products. And you guys should be acknowledged for that, because you're in the top every time. So I'm blessed to be around some rings. Maybe this conversation will get me one. We got 13 here. We got 3 over here. I'm ringless, guys. I'm ringless.
You'll get it.
That's right.
You know what? Yeah. The best thing about when you're building the league is, just a lot of the external stuff too. Obviously, everybody wants to play against great players, but you also want to be around like-minded people. And I think that's, something I think Tucker's built and you've built. So we're happy to be a part of it.
Great. Well, guys, this is the end of our hour. Thanks so much. Get back to your day. You guys probably have some practices to plan for. It is middle of the day here.
Yes, we do. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Go to Quick Trip QT. I'm gonna hop to Circle K.
Right.
Load up before practice.
When you come to St. Louis, we'll show you what a QT is.
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to go to a Quick Trip. I love a good gas station slushie. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, there you go.
I do.
I got it all.
Sucker for one every time.
You can eat a meal there every meal.
That's right. You could.
I'm probably gonna stay away from the hot foods there, but slushies, I'm totally down.
Yeah.
Really down.
Nice.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See ya.